When it comes to health, we're not doing so well. Our numbers are skyrocketing and they're reaching pandemic proportions. And it doesn't seem to be easing up. But here's the truth. Most people aren't failing because they're weak. They're failing because they're playing a game that was not designed for them. They're playing a game that they never chose. So if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, you're shifting, you're modifying, and you still don't seem to be able to get ahead, this is the episode for you. Because we are back with something new, a bold new series that's going to challenge the way that you think about your health, the way you think about your mindset, and the way you think about your strategy for success. And we're calling it Play Your Own Game. That's right, play your own game. Reclaiming ownership of your health, reclaiming the mindset, reclaiming your future. And tonight is our kickoff episode. So stop playing their game. How do you play your own game? When it comes to us, what if you've been playing the wrong game? And how do you go about reclaiming your health? Hey everyone, this is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E if you're new to me. The E stands for endocrinology, and here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. We're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We are showing up with our best self and our best health, and we are living limitless lives. So stick around and we will talk through that process. We'll go through. If you know somebody that needs to be here, go ahead and share it with them. Let them know that they need to come through. I want to welcome you, whatever platform you're on. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments because we'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that we are excited and happy that you are in this space. And whatever platform you're on, if you're on LinkedIn or Twitch or Facebook or YouTube. And then, of course, if you have been seeing us and watching us on some other platforms, you're seeing our content there. Thank you for coming through. Special shout out to Atlanta Berean and also to Riverside in Nashville, Tennessee. If you are here from one of those places, thank you for joining us and thank you for hanging out with us. And you know how we do. We've got our monitors that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. Let me make sure. Okay, here it is. And let's see. We've got our monitor, so we'll take a look at what my blood sugars are and to see what's been going on since we did our check-in just over the week, right before the weekend, right? So that's what we saw, and so we'll take a look at that here in just a minute. If you have not yet been on if you've not been on our YouTube channel, and you should, because here you are right now, you will see some changes that we've made there on the channel, and that is to simplify the things that we are doing. So if you go to the channel now, you will see two playlists that will show up. One is called Start Here, and it says Reversing Diabetes and Reclaim Your Health with Dr. Dwayne Wood. And that is with the intention of allowing you to get there and get started quickly. I've often had people say to me, hey, if we want to jump in, if we want to become a part of what you're doing, if we want to get that information, where do I start? And so I've taken everything else off of the main page, and now there is just that playlist that says start. As you go through the playlist though, if you get to a video that's in there or you want to find additional information, we've done over 2,000 videos that are there. You can dig into those deeper based on the videos that you're watching, based on the information that you're getting. So don't think that that's all gone. It is still there, but this is a way for you to get in there and get started. In the playlist, in the description for the playlist, you can download a free PDF, and that PDF walks you through the different videos that are there and helps you to be able to understand the series. And so there are 4 parts to the series. Part 1 is starting with the vision. Part 2, understanding what's really going on. Part 3 is mastering the tools that actually work. And then part 4 is putting it all into action. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this link and we're going to paste that into the chat for you to get to. All right, so that's the first thing. And then so that's the first playlist. The next playlist that you will see, and let me go over here and make sure, okay, yeah. The next playlist that you will see is this one down here that says this week's videos. So all the videos that we do for this week will show up here. So if you're coming to the channel, you've been gone for a while, or you've been with us and you want to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not really sure where we are this week, you can just go there and you'll see the videos that are there. So the one that we are on right now, right, the live video that's going on right now is this guy that's up here at the top, and then it will eventually show up in this list with all the other videos that we do as we move through our week. Okay, so make sure that you get over there and take a look at that. We also are in the middle of, well, not the middle now, we are actually close to the end of our move campaign. Close to one of the, I shouldn't say close to the end. We are in our move campaign, and one of the components that we're doing right now is our strength, strategy, and mindset. And so I want to show you something. This was several weeks ago, and I forgot what day this was. This is day 75. And so there were some things going on at the whole house. And as you know, I set up in the back in our sunroom. That's where my workout area is. And they were doing some things out there. I couldn't get in. And so what I did was I just came into the house, put my camera up, and I did my 5-minute workout, the 5-minute circuit. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. So this is me in the house, right? Moved all the stuff around. So I had to do this when my wife wasn't watching, but yeah, no, she didn't. She was okay. And so that's me, right? So we're just going through the series. So my point in saying that is wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, you can still do the things that you need to do, right? We're doing the reaches. I'm on the floor now. We're doing some pelvic tilts. Let's see, what's this? I'm doing the stomach crunches, and I think at some point here I was doing the dead bugs. Yeah, there we go. So I'm doing some dead bugs on the floor. Okay, and so all the things that you will find on the channel are designed to give you a space where you can then plug in. So we don't want you to have to recreate. We don't want you to have to reprocess. Everything is there, so you can jump in at any point and just plug in and come along with us, so that you will see the things that we're doing. Okay, so let's go ahead, and the other thing that we're going to take a look at right now is we're going to go over to blood sugars and see what's been going on with my blood sugars over the last little while. So right now this is my Freestyle Libre, and I'm looking at this number right here. So that's my blood sugar right now, and you see down below, that's the graph that's been what my blood sugars have been over the last that's the 12-hour graph, and you see for most of the day my blood sugars have been 100 or a little less than 100. It hasn't gone below 70 for today. If I change and look at some of the insights and reports, let's see, let's do the average. Let's see time in range. Okay, and so you'll see there time in range 80%, and then 20% are actually lows. And so that was when we were fasting last week. This is for the last 7 days. And so between being in range and low, that's 100%. If I go to the last 14 days, 84% with 16% lows. Go to 30 days, 88% with 12% lows, and then of course go to 90. So 90%, 90% in range and 10% lows. So these reports give you lots of good information. Let's go over and take a look at my Dexcom, and once again looking at my blood sugar right here, and then looking at the graph right about here. I'm going to change the 24-hour view, and then let's scroll back a little bit. So this is the last 24 hours. So notice that my blood sugars have been running in the 100s. I think it popped up to 120 right about there, and low 90s, 100s. And so right here is where we normally see my toothpaste effect, and we're not seeing as big an effect as we have been in the past. Well, we got up to 119. And you'll see this break. Well, I'm looking right here. This break is where my Dexcom meter ended, and I had to start a new one, so I didn't do it until I got home this evening. So that's why you see that break there. Okay, and then let's hop over quickly, and we're going to take a look at the other thing that we normally look at is blood sugar and ketones, because I want you to see what the ketones are as we get into this week. And we're starting that tomorrow. Of course, we'll start our fasting, so make sure you join us for that as we move through the week. All right, and so I've got a brown for blood sugar, and I've got a blue for ketones. I've got my contour meter that we're going to take a look at, and then I'm going to grab some Lancets. All right, so let's go back over here. Let's take a look. Let's go here. Boom, there we go. All right, and let's get a strip for the contour. Get that in. And open up, actually let's move over here to this one, you can see a little bit more. What do you think my ketones are going to be, by the way? All right, so I've not been fasting, and I'm not doing a ketogenic diet, so I'm just eating a normal, and I mean my meal is not a low carb meal, it is a balanced bite meal. All right, so those of you who are out there would recognize that phrase. All right. And so let's see what's going on this one. There we go. And so once again, I don't use a lancing device. I just have the Lancet. So I'm going to just grab that out. I've got my needle right there. Let's take a poke. And ow, ow, ow. Yeah, that one. I better get a good drop. Okay, there, yeah, that was a brisk. That was a brisk drop. My finger was like, yeah, take it. And while I do that, let's go back to this one so we can see, compare the two. So 115 for the Keto Mojo, 102 for the Contour, and then of course right there you'll see the that is the Dexcom. So let's get this strip out and get this one in. So what do you think? What do you think? Blood sugars are gonna, not blood sugars. What do you think ketones are going to be at this point? All right. And counting down in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So 0.3 is what the ketones are. Remember, ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis. And then above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. And so right now I'm in the normal range. And we'll talk more about that as we get through the week, and you'll see as I check in. So I wanted to make sure that we do that so that we have that as we move through the rest of our week. And so now let's go over and take a look at blood sugars on my report. And this is my Dexcom Clarity report. Average blood sugar for the last 14 days is 103. I'm in target 96% of the time with a glucose management indicator of 5.8. So if I were to get an A1C, based on these numbers, I would expect my A1C to be a 5.8 or thereabouts. So I can't call it an A1C because it's a calculated value, but I would expect it to be close to that. We've got my physician's visit coming up next month, sometime I guess mid or late next month, so we'll see what that is. And so if I go and change now to a 90-day view, and let's see what my average is. So 116, and I normally tell patients, clients, that I want their average blood sugar to be, these are my diabetics by the way, between 100 and 120. And so we're right in keeping with that. Glucose management indicator of 6.1, target being anywhere from, target being 98%, and we're shooting between 70 and 180. If I look now at my daily graphs, and we're going to start from where we are now and then scroll backwards into us breaking the fast. And so here we are at 109. Scrolling back, we're in the low 100s, 90s, 100s, 90s, 100s. Here's a 112. right here, 121, and that was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure what I was doing up, if I was up. 116, this is now on Sunday. And you guys know when I'm not in my fast for the week, when I'm in my eating window, I try to do a one meal a day. On weekends, sometimes that doesn't quite go that way, particularly if we have some function that's going on. And so 120s, low 100s, and you'll see all those numbers there. 90s to 100s. This is now Sunday. Going back the day before, this is Saturday, low 100s. And right here, this is lunch, right? So came home and my family and I had lunch, and so we got up to about 156. Let's see, so started out at about 100, got up to 156, and then let's see, so 525, by 7 we were 156, and then, yeah, by 8 o'clock, 7:30, we were back down at 103. Okay, so whatever, I don't remember what we ate there. But going backwards, continuing 123, low 100s, low 100s, low 100s. I got up to, there's a 140, I think, 149, right? And now we're going into breaking the fast, which was last week, right? So here we are, and let me go back to when we actually broke the fast. So here I was in the 60s and 70s coming into the fast, right? So for that entire morning, blood sugars are running in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and so broke the fast right about here, right, with a blood sugar of about 63. And then let's take a look at the blood sugars that happened after the fast. And you guys can go back, if you've not seen that, go back and watch that episode where we broke the fast. And you see those blood sugars climbing, 60s, 69, 70s, 80s, up to 100, 80s, 90s, 95, 106, 97, 103, 110. And so look at that. For the rest of that day, I think the highest I got was a 131. Yeah, 143 right there. So 143, and then started climbing back down, which brought us into the numbers that we saw the next morning. Okay. So as you are thinking about your meals, a point here to be made is that we're always thinking about balanced bites. So balanced bites is not I'm going to eat this special way at this particular time. I'm going to eat this special way at this other time. Balanced bites is intended that it is your thought process. It is the way that you process food now. Okay, so it's not just that we're going to do this on a special occasion, or when I'm starting my fast, I'm going to do this. When I break my fast, I'm going to do this. No, this is how we roll now. This is what has been installed in us. This is how we do what we do. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members. I see you out there, so let's do that right now. And I think I see, let's see, we've got Kenty. Looked like you were the first one to come hang out with us. So welcome, welcome, welcome. She said flagship show. That's right. Dwayne Wood MD live on Monday. Hi Doc. Hi LLG from Gion. Steve says hot, hot, hot in North Alabama. It sure enough is, Steve. I'm feeling you, man. I'm feeling you. He says hello team, and Kenty says hello. 55 where you are. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a little cooler than where we are. Hi Steve, very hot here, Gion says as well. Hi Kenty from Gion. Humid, so high and watery. And then Cornelia says hello everyone. It's been hot and muggy here in South Ohio as well. Yeah, just all over. And Gion says hi sis, and then Pam says hello to everyone. And I am just so excited that everybody's here, and excited as we get into the week. So if you've not been in our space before, this is how we roll. This is what we do. And if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments. I didn't say that earlier. Go ahead and put those in the comments so that we can see those as well, and we can we know that we have to get to those. Let me say it that way. So thank you for coming through, and let's go ahead and let's get into our discussion. And actually, let me do one thing here really quickly. Let's go ahead and get into our discussion as we move into what we're talking about tonight. And it's a very fascinating conversation because it is really at the heart of much of what we do, right? It was the heart of what we do. And this is what we've been talking about. So let's move into that discussion right now as we talk about where we are and what the benefits are that we get from being in this space. All right, so let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. And the story is an interesting one. It's one that I have, that I enjoy telling because it has to do with one of my favorite people, and that's my son. And it is a basketball story. So my son loves basketball. When I say he loves basketball, that's probably an understatement. He eats, sleeps, breathes basketball. If I go out there right now and say, hey man, what are you doing? He's probably watching some highlight reels or some clips or something from a basketball game. We went to, wow, he was probably 9 at the time. So we went to Atlanta Hawks game and they were playing, who did they play at that time? Actually, I don't remember who they were playing, but we're sitting in the stands, me, another dad, his son, and my son. And so my son is sitting on one side of me, and so he's doing some stuff, and him and the other kid are talking, and all of a sudden there's this whole commotion going over. So I look over, and he is talking to these grown men behind me, and they're arguing stats for the players on the floor. And so I hear one of the guys said, "That's right, you are right. I thought it was this." So this is my kid. He's 9, 10 years old. So when I say he likes basketball, he loves basketball. Recently, he was in a summer league because it's summertime right now, and they were playing. And this last game that they played, they got in there, they did the fundamentals, they beat the team. I think the score was like 79-20 or something like that, okay? And they were excited. But let me tell you about another game that hit even deeper because they were excited about this one. So he joined the league and had played a couple of games and they won, okay? And so we walked in this one day and weren't sure. I didn't know which team they were playing, and he was telling me which team they were playing. And so I walked out. So we got dressed. So I walked out, and I'm sitting on the side because I'm near where the coaches are. And the team walks out, our team, and you could see physically that their shoulders drooped. Because the other team, my son is about almost as tall as I am. But the other team was a good foot or so taller. Like all the kids on the other team were taller than all the kids on my son's team. And so they got out there and they started playing. And the first half, I mean, it was bad. They were getting beat, right? And so we come back. And so it's, at the quarter and the coach is motivating them and I come over and I'm talking as well. And so half comes and you can tell that it's almost like they've given up. And so I walked over and the coach looked at me and we talked a little bit and he said, Dr. Wood, do you have anything you can say to the kids? And I said to them, hey guys, what's going on? And my son said something to me. He said, Daddy, they are big. They're taller than we are. They're shooting above us. I don't think we can beat them. And I paused for a minute and I said, let me ask you a question. In order for them to make those shots that they're shooting over your head, what do they have to do first? And so they all looked at me and they're kind of confused. I said, don't they have to get the ball off the floor above your head in order to be able to shoot? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, where are you? They're up here, but where are you? You're down here. So I said, don't let them get the ball off the floor. Simple thing, right? I think it clicked. They went back in, they changed their strategy, and instead of trying to block the tall shots, they started stealing balls. They're swiping, they're reaching in, right? And everything turned around. And the other team, the bigger team, the taller team, the seemingly unstoppable team, the other opponents, suddenly they looked awkward, frustrated, and totally shut down. So at the end of the game, and they did well. I said to my son, what happened? What happened? And he said, we changed our strategy. I said, how so? He said, we stopped playing their game. And that there is the lesson. You don't have to play the game that life throws at you. You don't have to play the health game that someone else throws at you. You don't have to play by their rules, especially when those rules were never written and designed for you. Here's an overriding thought. Life is going to throw a lot of stuff at you. It will throw distractions. It will throw comparisons. It will throw shiny new successes and deep failures. But you weren't built to play that game. You were built to play your own game. And so I want to challenge you right now as we move into this next thought that you play your own game. You were built for consistency. You were built for alignment. You were built for rhythm. You were built for structure. And when you stay true to that, life now starts to play your game, starts to play by your rules. People will look at you and say, wait a minute, what are they doing? How are they getting those benefits? How are they getting those health results? How are they pulling this off? And the truth is that you're not doing more. You're just doing you. And that's the beauty of where we are. You're not trying to outwork the system. You're building a new one. And that's what this is all about as we walk through this process. We are not playing their game. We're playing our game. So let's talk a little bit about the games we inherit. Years ago, I went to a conference, and one of the exercises that we did was they blindfolded us. They brought us downstairs. They blindfolded us as we were going down, and they put us into a maze. And the goal was that we were supposed to make our way through the maze. And we entered and we groped, right? And we're pulling and we're making our way around. And some of us made it out successfully. But many people did not make it through. And I want you to picture yourself walking into a giant healthcare maze blindfolded. Let's break it down. Most people are stuck in the health system, and they're stuck in a system that they did not create. They're trying to succeed by following rules that were set by a medical system which seems to reward prescriptions over prevention. They're stuck in a system that is designed by a diet culture which seems to want to profit from shame and repeat customers. And certainly we're stuck in a system that is coming from our family history, where generational patterns have become the personal prisons and our norms. I can't tell you the number of times I've had people say to me, this is just how our family is. Yeah, we all have had heart attacks. We all are overweight. Everybody has diabetes. We've had strokes. Yeah, mama was on dialysis and cousin is on dialysis and uncle is on dialysis. And I'm afraid that I'm going to be on dialysis. And we're also stuck in social norms where busyness seems to equal importance and rest equals laziness. So you're not just reacting to symptoms when you have an issue. You're not just reacting to that neuropathy. You're not just reacting to the difficulty you're having with your eyes. You're not just reacting to that response to the heart attack. All of those are reactions and symptoms and consequences of a system that seems to not have the way to help us move through successfully. And when you're playing somebody else's game, even when your wins are coming, they can feel like you're losing. So most people are playing a healthcare game designed by systems that were in crisis. Many of the rules that we've come up, many of the criteria we've come up with, these are rules that came about because there was some consequence happening. Something was going on. And we say, how do we fix that? And we came up with a rule. And this other thing happened. We say, how do we fix that? We came up with another rule. Do those rules match each other? Do those rules coincide? Do they complement each other? Sometimes they don't. And we have a tendency sometimes to think that it is a conspiracy. And the game is not necessarily rigged by conspiracy. It's rigged because we don't fully understand all that goes on in this amazing body that we have. And it was rigged, if it is, before you ever started. And certainly, we can talk about the food that we eat. Food as medicine, right? That's why we talk about balanced bites. Now, and let me couch this way. If I were a manufacturer and I was making something for somebody to eat, my goal is really to get as many people to eat it, and for them to not just eat it once, but for them to eat it again and again and again and again. After all, that is what we do. If you have a business, you don't just want a single customer, and you don't just want that customer to come once. You want that customer to keep coming. And so often when we look at the foods that we eat, the foods were not necessarily designed for nutrition alone. They were designed to stimulate our desires, to give us that dopamine burst. And so we're stuck in these systems that seem to say we want you to get better, but then also, on the other hand, make it challenging for us to get better. Now, I'm all for personal choice. And I'm talking personal choice when it comes to food, right? I'm all for the choice that we are adults. And so if you have a donut shop, you should be able to open your donut shop wherever you want to open it up. And I, as an adult, should be able to go by the donut shop and decide if I want to go into the donut shop or not. That's my personal choice. The way we live, though, and the consequence of our lifestyle, and the triggers that we have, the fractured thought processes that we have, the trauma that we have, the emotional disturbances that we have, push those buttons and make it difficult for me to walk by the donut shop without stopping in. And that part of the conversation we don't acknowledge, or we don't seem to want to assist with. After all, that's your problem. It is a lifestyle choice. So you're not failing. You're following a blueprint that was never designed to be optimally used by you. You're playing somebody else's game. So how do we go from reactive to designed health. Imagine entering a destination in a GPS, but every time you hit traffic or congestion, the GPS reroutes, but it never updates the actual route that you put in. So you keep driving, you keep turning, you keep detouring, but you never feel closer to where you're supposed to be going. You're reaching to the road, or you're reacting to the road instead of owning the map. And that's where many of us find ourselves. So we have a leg pain, and so we go here. And we have a back pain, and we go there. And our blood pressure goes up, and this happens. And our cholesterol goes up, and this happens. And our blood sugar goes up, this happens. And we lose some weight, and we gain some weight. And we're always seeming as though we're turning and going in different directions. And we're trying this, we're trying that, we're trying the other thing. But we never seem to be able to get to the point where, wow, I'm at my destination. And there are two ways to play this health game. One is called reactive health, and the other is called designed health. So with reactive health, you're constantly catching or chasing the A1C. You're constantly chasing the symptoms. Your A1C goes up, so you cut your carbs. Blood pressure spikes, you start walking again. Motivation wanes, and you guilt yourself into a Monday morning restart. You're in a shame cycle. You start, you stop, you fall off, you come back. Oh man, I don't know what's going on. Oh, last year I lost weight, but this year I'm up 10 pounds. The year before that, I tried this thing, and I don't know what happened, but here I am again. So we're always reacting to that process. Designed health, on the other hand, says that I'm building a system, one that fits my rhythm, one that aligns with my purpose, and I shift from short bursts of sustainable behaviors. And you've heard me say that I'm not interested in you doing something for today or tomorrow or next week. I'm interested in what's being designed in you that you can do from now on and forever. When I say that, people say to me, and I've heard people say, well, nobody can do anything forever. And that's not true. You breathe forever until, right? When I say forever, I mean forever in your lifetime. Your heart's beating forever. You eat forever. Nobody ever says, well, I can't eat forever, but we do. And the idea of forever is really a concept that means that the general tone of your life is that this is who you are now. Not that every single moment of your life you're doing this thing, but this is not a fly-by-night thing that you try. It is a forever thing. I am forever going to be an endocrinologist. You know why? Because that's what I trained to do. I went to school. I have the piece of paper. I went to residency. I went to fellowship. I came out. I'm practicing. When I retire, I will be a retired endocrinologist forever. I will be a dad forever. So we're looking for those sustainable things, those patterns, those things that we could design in our health. So moving from reactive to designed health means that we are stopping this process of trying to win a race that we never wanted to run. And instead, we're creating a path that's worth walking on a daily basis. That's what we're doing. Reactive health keeps you in the response mode. reacting to symptoms, reacting to numbers, reacting to trends, reacting to a new thing here and a new thing there and a new idea there. And my cousin told me to try this, and I saw this thing on the internet, and I saw this guy over in some island somewhere, and they've dug something out the ground. So let me go see if that will help. But when you become the map maker, you know where you're going. One of the funniest things that I find, and I guess it's not funny, it is where we've come. I was talking to my son, and we were watching some show, and they were the people on the show were planning to go somewhere, and so they pulled out a map, like a map, and he says, why didn't they just plug it in the GPS? And so I said to him, I said, before we didn't have GPSs. Right, you had to get a map. You remember Rand McNally? Is that what it was called? And you'd pull it out and you open it up, or it had the one with the books with the pages, and you would go through the spiral. And he's like, okay, we're here and we need to go there, and you kind of think through the process. And right now we plug it in and we just go. But when you know the path, you stop trying to go by the path that the GPS does. There are times when the GPS will tell me to go somewhere, right, here in town, and I know that there's a faster way to go. And I just go there. And this happens when we create the path ourselves. So reactive health is rerouting. Designed health is choosing the road and naming the destination for ourselves so that we can get there. That's reactive health. So, what are 3 traps that we can fall into when we play a game that we did not intend to play and we play other people's games? Let's talk about them. So 3 things. Number 1, there's an external scoreboard. We compare our path to somebody else's. You lose 10 pounds, but it doesn't feel like a win because your cousin lost 15. I see that now for people who are on the GLPs, right? And those are, anyway, I won't call the names. Those injectables that people are losing weight. People say to me, well, my cousin is on this. I'm on it, and my cousin is on it, and they lost 50 pounds. I only lost 10. External scoreboards. You walk 5 days, but somebody else is lifting for 6 days. You're never satisfied because the scoreboard is coming from outside. You have created some external scoreboards that say, I am less than if I don't meet those parameters. Number 1, external scoreboards. Number 2, borrowed motivation. We're always chasing a version of success that was never designed for us. And it's not us, it's not ours. So we always need a challenge to stay focused. We always need a new program to keep us going. We always say, oh, when I was in that, it worked, but when I stopped, it went away. So here's an interesting one. And this is a concept that comes directly from Limitless Living. When I see patients in the office, and many people come to me because they want to go on one of the GLPs, right? Their blood sugars are good, but they want to lose weight, or whatever reason. And one of the conversations we have is that I think, is what I say to them, I think this will work for you. I love what it can do for you. We can't get you on it until we have a few conversations, though. And they say, well, what are the conversations? And the very first thing I ask them is, why do you think your weight is up? I'm going to pause, because if you're watching me, I want you to think about it. why is your weight up? Why is your blood sugar up? And the resounding answer that I get, the most common answer I get is, I don't know. Because I've been exercising, I've cut back on my meals, I'm not eating any carbs, I've given up soda, I've given up, and right, so then they go through this entire process. And if you're watching, I want you to understand that the medications suppress appetite. They do not suppress your anxiety. They don't suppress your depression. They don't suppress your boredom. They don't suppress your frustration. They don't suppress your fatigue. They don't suppress your routines. They don't suppress the fact that there are things around you that are visibly stimulating you. And so until we are able to think through that process, it becomes difficult. And so we're always looking for motivation elsewhere. We need somebody else's voice to stay disciplined, because we have not installed an inner scoreboard. We're just using that external noise. The other thing is that we have effort without alignment. We're working harder, but we're working on something that doesn't align with who we say we are. And we become burnt out from trying harder instead of trying different. And you've been there, right? You've tried this weight loss and that weight loss, and you've bought that meal plan, and you've done this other thing, and they had it at your church and then your community center and your office. Your company gives you incentives for, right? So you've done it. And the question is, why didn't it stick? It didn't stick because it wasn't aligned with what you have designed. And the things that you're doing were not in keeping with where you say you want to go. So effort without alignment. We use borrowed motivation, and we have this external scoreboard. So the 3 traps. So what does it really mean? What does it really mean to play your own game? Play your own game means building a strategy around your own strengths. So like my son's basketball team, they were trying to play the game that the other team was playing. My pastor tells a story about playing basketball with his son. And he says that at one point he realized that that he could shoot from outside. And rather than going down low, he would just stand outside and shoot. And he's making these baskets. And his son said, hey, why don't you come in here and play? And he said, no, I'm not playing your game. I'm playing my own game. We all have strengths. So our power is building a strategy around our own strengths, around our own values, and around our own circumstances. That's why when we talk about fasting, and you hear me say, your fasting regimen should reflect your life. I do my fast Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the middle of the week. You know why? Because on weekends, that's my family time. And I am not fasting at a time when my family, when my son is having a function, when my wife is doing something, we've got people coming over. That's not my time to fast. I fast during the week. Get it out of the way. When I travel, as you guys saw, when was it, last week or week before, we were getting ready to leave. We're leaving on Thursday. We were supposed to end my fast on Friday. I started my fast on Monday. So I got my fast in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, ended it, and then I went about my business. Because I created a regimen that fit my lifestyle. You want to play to your own strength. You want to play your own game. It means designing a strategy that fits you, fits your biology, fits your beliefs, fits your bandwidth. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. What does that mean? We've walked through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, right? Walking, fasting, strength training, balanced bites, rest and restoration, mindset mastery, and strategy and planning. Right? That's it. Those are the pillars, the 7 pillars. What does that look like in your life? Maybe it looks like, as you saw me, when things were going on in the back and I couldn't do anything, I came inside. I didn't spend 30 minutes in my routine, but I had designed a 5-minute circuit. And that's what I did. Right there in the living room. Move my wife's stuff out of the way. Had to put it back. We were in a hotel when I traveled. On the channel, you'll see those days when I traveled. I'm in the hotel, in the workout room, going through my 5-minute circuit. It's not about pushing harder. It's about syncing your rhythm, finding your alignment, and building a structure that supports where you are. That's what it means to play your own game. Rhythm is what is sustainable in your life. What is your life about? What is the bent of your life? What is your alignment? Are the behaviors that you do, are the choices that you make, do they match where you say you want to go? And do you have the scaffolding? That's the structure. Do you have the innards that support the consistency when you are going to be non-motivated? When you wake up and you're tired and you don't feel like you can, do you have something in place that's going to help you to make the choice to continue the process? One of the most powerful idea from Limitless Living is that we each have the choice. We have autonomy. We get to choose. And that's why you hear me say as I go through Limitless Living that I am not allowing. Notice the phraseology. I am not allowing anything from outside. I am not allowing anything from inside. I'm not allowing any circumstance around me. And I'm not allowing anything internal to me to prevent me from doing what I need to do to be successful, right? Autonomy. I get the choice. There's awareness. You have to evaluate where you are, and you have to be honest about where you are. I have made some choices in my life metabolically that I am currently suffering the consequence of. I can't change that. It's there, and I can't go back. And I am designing my metabolic life, my health plan around me. People say, why do you fast for 72 hours? Why not fast for 24? I've made the choice that the things that I need to happen in my body metabolically are best done at 72 hours. And as I go through my 72 hours now, we've been doing this long enough. If you've been in our community, we've been doing this long enough now that it has become a pattern, a rhythm. People around me know that this is what I do. And so part of my structure is that people around me remind me. I'm aware. And then you need alignment. You only pursue what's meaningful. The behaviors that I have, are they taking me in the direction of what I say I want? And then I have to adapt. Life is going to continue to move. Life is going to continue to throw things at me. The system around me hasn't changed. The food is still there. The donut shop is still there. When you go to the doctor, they're still going to talk to you about medication. When you're at home, you're still going to be tempted to stay up late and not get rest. And we have to adapt to all of that. We have to see it. We have to observe it without shame, right? Because we're not trying to beat you up over the head. It is where we are. And now our goal, right? Our goal, Limitless Living, is to show up with our best selves, our best health, and our best plans. So how do we adapt? If morning doesn't work for you, stop trying to force it at 5 o'clock. Because that's not you. If calorie tracking makes you spiral into whatever, try habit stacking instead. If your current plan leaves you burnt out, it's not a plan for you. Because it's not a plan. It's supposed to be a plan, not a prison. What if this week you stop playing their game? What if instead, instead of waiting for permission, you start designing a system that works for you? This isn't about rebellion. It's about ownership. Because when you show up with rhythm, when you show up with alignment, when you show up with structure, you don't just participate in the game. You change it all together. So here's your question. Whose game are you playing? Whose game have you been playing? And what would it look like if you started playing your own game? Hang in there. We will continue to walk through this process together as we talk about this amazing system, playing your own game. All right. And that's an amazing conversation. That idea of playing our own game has ramifications throughout our lives. Here we're talking about health. And that's what I love about Limitless Living. It is designed, it is based, it is fully functional within the health space. But I want you to think about your relationships. I want you to think about your finances. I want you to think about your rest. I want you to think about your interactions with society. All of that. When we play our game, we're true to ourselves and we have a richer life. We have a richer experience. But when we play other people's game, we suffer from anxiety. We suffer from self-doubt. We suffer from imposter syndrome. And those things, right? Those things, when we're playing other people's games, those are the things that actually push us in the direction of unhealthy behavior. Because what we're doing is not aligned with who we say we are and what our desires and our goals are. And so your goal is to live a limitless life where you're playing your game in every area of your life. That's why the domains of health were so important. Not were, but are so important. Because we cannot have a successful part of the domains without all the other parts of the domains making sense. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about our path as we move forward. Let me go ahead. I see some of our community members. Let me go ahead and pop that up. Let's see, where were we? So we had said hello to Pamela. And let's see where we are. So Jennifer says storms rolled through Nebraska last night. Oh, Jennifer. Hopefully you guys are doing fine. She said just in from the garden. Sweet corn is ready. Had some last night. More tonight. Tomorrow we'll pick for processing for eating later. I love it. I love it. Bowie, hey, how are you? She said hi, everyone. She said, isn't it humid in South Korea too? It's like taking a shower outdoors here. My glasses fog up. Yes, they do. Jennifer saying, hey, Bowie, sweet corn straight from the garden from Bowie. She says, that's amazing, Jennifer. Jennifer says, yep, I'm so happy to have this life. Processed chicken last weekend, chicken, cucumber, sweet corn. Jennifer, you're making me hungry. Jennifer says, no wonder I eat too much. I love it. I love it. Jill says, hi, Bowie. Yes, watery all over the place and watery going crazy. Gion says, hi, Jennifer. Hello, Gion from Jennifer. Jennifer says, I eat too much also. I think we all have a little bit of that, in us. So everyone, remember, we are continuing our process. Everything that we do is based in our Triple E formula for success. We educate. Education is designed to change our thought process, give us information about how the body works so that we can make intelligent decisions about the things that we do. We empower by providing tools, right? The HEAT model, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, the Balanced Bites. All of those are tools that allow us to plug in and install the things that we've learned. And then the amazing community that you are part of is the driving force. It is the support system that comes and helps to shepherd you and guide you along. Last week we talked about our accelerator program that's coming, so keep an eye out for that. Those of you who are in the community, you will see some changes in the structure when you go into our community area. Everyone else, make sure that you pay attention to our website. We are, as a matter of fact, let me point that out really quickly to you. So just like we've made changes to the YouTube channel, we've also made changes to the website, and the website now is just streamlined, right? So Limitless Living, there's a welcome message there from you. It says now, if you're new here, start here, and the same things that you see on the channel are what you have here, right? So there's the downloaded PDF. So if you want that PDF, go ahead and you can download it right there. And here is a link that goes directly to the playlist that's on the YouTube channel. So very simplified. So if anybody comes, whether they go to the website or they go to the channel, everything there is pointing to, okay, this is where we start. And this is where you will see the accelerator information show up. So whether you go to the website or you go to the channel, all of that is there. Okay, so simplified version of all that. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. As I always say, that I'm excited to be here with you. Always, we will come back tomorrow as we walk through the process of getting into our fast. You'll see what we eat for our last meal before the fast. We'll have our check-ins on Wednesday, Thursday, and of course our complete review on Friday. And then we'll be back for Video from the Vault on Saturday night at 9 o'clock, Sunday morning, This Week in Review. And then we'll be right back here next week as we continue our process of talking about how we can play our game in terms of our health and make choices that set us up for success. How do we design that for ourselves and continue, not just for us, but to help other people around us? Because that's a big part of Limitless Living, that we help to also enhance and improve the community. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health in your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are going to the next level. We are living limitless lives, which said that we're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans, and we are going to be successful. So go live a limitless life, and we'll see you as we get to our next episodes. Good night, everybody.